once we get going. I want to introduce Candace Moscow-Polner. Many of you may know her from Congregation Kol Ami. I'm going to read a little bit about her, and then Candace is going to take over the screen and show us a slideshow of her work and speak over that. So the gallery screen will disappear and we'll see some great pictures instead. Candace has been making connections between nature, art, and Judaism for almost 2 decades. She has inspired children to embrace Torah values by imbuing a sense of love and respect for our earth, while also giving them a multi-sensory way of exploring it hands-on. Candace is the head garden and Teva educator at Kol Ami Preschool in White Plains, where she also teaches introductory Hebrew through sustainable art for K to 2nd grades in their religious school. Candace is also the co-creator of the outdoor classroom, which we will see, where she continues to build a curriculum specifically designed for that space. So with that, Candace, I'm going to turn it over to you. I have visited her garden recently. It's beautiful and brilliant. Okay, Candace, good luck. We've been practicing sharing the screen. So
yeah, I know. I'm not going to share quite yet. So you'll have to, everyone, thank you so much. First, I will say, please bear with me. I've been practicing my Zoom, and it's something I wish I took in college. I wish I took a refresher, but I've been working. I had all summer. My boss said, you guys have to learn Zoom. If you're teaching on Zoom, you got to learn Zoom. So please bear with me. But thank you for inviting me, Marty and Pam and Bonnie. And I'm really excited because I do have so much to share with you. And I probably did upload too many slides. So your head might spin a little bit, and I'm going to apologize for that as well. So Marty said, she told me what to stick to, but I get excited and I want to share so much with you. So thank you for all coming together for this greening roundtable. This is new to me, and you're all here for the same reason. We want to help this earth and make it right. And if we learn something from each other, then all the better. And maybe I might learn some things from you today. I hope I will, and I'm sure I will. So quickly. I asked my dad, I said, Dad, I'm speaking at this greening roundtable, and he says, oh, can I come? I said, no, you cannot come. I don't need you correcting me and quoting certain things and telling everyone how we recycled since we were like 5 years old. So he said, okay, fine, maybe you'll send it to me. Just record it and hope you'll send it to me. So, but my dad is he's a very interesting person, and he's been very inspirational to me growing up, and he still is. People say, how did you end up doing what you're doing? Who's creative, your mom or your dad? And my dad is super creative. He was an art teacher for many years, and a history teacher before he entered local politics. And I definitely got his genes. And I have to show you the slide. I said, Dad, please find this picture for me. I want to show everyone, they're going to love it. So he was a teacher, and he was a teaching assistant, and he went all over Ontario, and he did summer courses. So we went, it was the 70s, and he says, all right, everyone, I'm going to go teach up in Pembroke, Ontario, which is very close to Quebec, right across the river. So we all packed in the car and we went up there. And the day after we got there, I have to show you what he found on the ground and what he did to it. So let me just share my screen first. All right. This is so cute. Bear with me. We're going to share it now. Okay, bear with me. Spotlight. All right, here we go. Zoom 101. 102. Okay. Okay. And first screen, here we go. Okay. Could you please, everything hit thumbs up? Do you see my first screen here? Beautiful, excellent. It's already a good morning. Okay, so first of all, before I find this picture, I had to show you this. People say to me, before I get to my dad's interesting item that he picked up from the ground, people say, Candace, you have the dream job. You work with kids, you're in the sunshine, you're in nature. You were so lucky. like, how did you get it? How'd you do this? And I said, well, you know, I'm not so lucky because I've been stung by bees and wasps more times than I'd like to admit. I've had skin damage. I have gardening hands. I never have a manicure unless I'm going to a bar bat mitzvah. And my kid hates to get in my car because he says it smells like a forest. So because I'm schlepping wood and pots and earth, but it's all good. I love to create, and that's how really I'm back to my dad's story about what he did when we went to Pembroke, Ontario. So let me just show you. See, well, this is my office, first of all. This is my office in the spring, and my office in the fall, and my office in the winter. So here's this picture. So my father found the stop sign on the ground. We just got there. We unpacked. He sees a stop sign on the ground and he picks it up, and we said, what are you doing? Why are you taking the stop sign? He says, I'm going to do something with it. So it did not say what it says right now. It was a regular stop sign. He takes it home. We paint it, and he puts the stop sign back up in this rural village where they barely speak English here. It's mostly French. So it says stop in Hebrew, obviously. And everyone thought that the Israeli army was coming to Pembroke, Ontario to train and who knew how long it was. And it was the buzz, and it was in all the local newspapers. So he was so proud of his work. But the reason I'm telling you this is that he found garbage. He found something on the ground. He took it home and he did something with it. And this is my life right now. I can't walk down the street on garbage day if I don't see something incredible thinking, I'm going to do something with the kids with this. I'm the garbage picking lady. I walk around with branches and I find bags of yarn and I just take everything. So my basement is full, but I really appreciate the memories and the crazy things that my dad did. And I really think I owe all this creativity to him. That the stop sign, I wonder if it's still there. We'll never know. It was the 70s, so probably not, but I wanted to just share that with you quickly. So let's see, before we go to that. So moved up to Westchester, had my kid, everything's different now. We found a place, we're renting forever. Preschool was great. And then he starts kindergarten, which is the most exciting thing for any parent. So he gets on the bus. I said, have a great day. He goes to school. I can't wait for him to get home. He comes home, he says, Mommy, it was a great day. I said, beautiful. So he said, well, I said, what did you do? He said, well, I sat in the blue chair. I played at the black top. I met Daniel. My teachers are so nice. They don't recycle. I had a great lunch. And he kept going. And I said, what? So he said, I had a great lunch. So we come home and I said, what do you mean don't recycle? He says, I don't think they recycle there. So I said, well, how do you know that? He says, well, my teacher put a piece of paper in the garbage can. So I said, okay, whatever. You know, I don't expect my 5-year-old kid to, on the first day of kindergarten, to start sourcing out if they're actually recycling in the classroom. So I said, well, if you remember, go check again, go see the next day. So he comes home, they don't recycle. So I said, okay. So I said, maybe we'll start some recycling at your school. He said, that's a great idea. So I went to the principal and she said, that's great, and go do your stuff. And I support you completely. And it was tough. It was really tough. First of all, I couldn't believe people didn't recycle because I did grow up recycling. And I didn't know if it was an American thing, if it was a Westchester thing. I'm from Toronto. What do I know? We all recycle up there. We're such nice people, right? We do everything nice. So anyways, we had a green team and we started, and it was nice and it was great and it was moving along, but it wasn't moving along fast enough. And I didn't understand why. And we tried everything. And for those of you that have a green team and maybe want to add these little things, I'm throwing you some pictures here that I loved and I worked my butt off and it was frustrating. But here we even went out and we sourced and we got these great recycling bins and we counted every room. I dragged my kid to every single classroom. So I asked the Hebrew teachers, I said, let's put some Hebrew words on it. And they said, great, they're beautiful. Thank you so much. I mean, really, this is $5 at Home Depot. I know that because I bought many of them. So we tried that. It was great. We had signs everywhere and easy peasy. I mean, we made up the sign really, really quickly. And I saw all these kippah in the lost and found. And I said, you can't have kippah in this big bin, this garbage bag lost and found. They were on the floor. It made me sad. So I hated things going to waste. I hated things just being so discarded. And everyone is so quick to get rid of things and toss things. So I made a kippah line. Kids helped me. They loved it. All these kids found their kippahs. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So this is something that you can do, and it's so easy. It's string and clothes pegs, and for people to retrieve their key put. It was great. So that was great. People loved it. The kids helped me make this Seder plate. This is a massive Seder plate, probably 5 feet wide. And we purposely, I said, kids, what are we going to do? We can't put an egg up here. We're not going to hang up a shank bone. So they were creative, and we had a t-shirt. I think these were rubber bands. That's a piece of bamboo some kid brought home from their garden. And this is basket, it's called Sizzle. So there you go. There was a massive kippah, and they actually all wrote their Hebrew names on it. It was so cute. I would take it to, I think the upper class is the grade 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. So I hope they still have it. It was a lot of fun, and just to have the kids involved, they loved it. They were so excited. So, you know, when you're modeling an action, you want, especially kids, to take notice. You've got to have it everywhere. It can't just be at school, in the hallway, in the lunchroom, and it has to be everywhere. It's got to be like at Target, at the bank. And these recycling bins, they weren't everywhere, and it was really, really frustrating. So, oops, here we go. So we had these, it was Earth Day, and I said, I want everyone to think of some Earth quote, something green, anything you want. And the kids were so creative. It was incredible. We probably had about 100 of these. I probably still have all of these. If you ever want to borrow these, you can borrow them from me. Over the 3-4 years that we did this, really, we have so many, and they were amazing. And these were 5th graders and 4th graders, and just really, really creative stuff. Some really simple, some really detailed, but it was fun, and they loved it. So the green team was moving slowly, but I know nothing moves quickly. So this is what I found. I came to the conclusion, to have a really successful greening program anywhere, this is who you need to have on board. If you don't, it's going to take a while. You need to have the head of the school or the director. He or she has got to be as passionate as you. And you have to have the head of the building, the maintenance, the custodians. Those 2 people, if those 2 people are on board and as eager to really fight for this mission, then it'll be successful. To have a green team, parents, volunteers who are just as passionate and really, really want to make change, they can do it. But those 2, the head of the school or the temple, really has to really, really want to do it. It's so helpful, and it makes a difference. And I was tired. I was exhausted year after year. Things were just taking forever, and I was spending a lot of time at this, helping out, and I got frustrated. So I went into semi-retirement, and I had my friends continue their green team, and I hope it still exists. But I said, I can't do this. I can't do this over and over. And I'm not one that gives up that easily, but I had to put my time and energy into other things like work and my kid, and the second shift of the second part of my career, and in Westchester. So it was exciting. It was great. And there's a lot of frustration, but I'd say don't give up. Some people are coachable. You think, well, I'll just train them. I'll just tell them how important this is. This is amazing. You should do it. It's a natural thing. But some people are not coachable. You can tell them and tell them and tell them. But if they don't get it, or they just don't have time for it, it's not going to happen. But just because I gave up and I took a few step backs, some parents were still on this green team, and some teachers were, and I really don't know what happened to the green team, but I hope it still exists. And that's it. My son has the memory of coming home and complaining to me that there's no recycling, and he tells his friends, well, we have a green team because my mom said there was no recycling bin in my kindergarten class, and blah, 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 blah. I mean, I don't think he tells his high school friends this story, but he was pretty proud of that story. So he knows that I was trying and worked hard at it, and did my best. That's all we have to do. So let's see where our next screen is. Oh, so this is also the other little secret. This is the secret to successful recycling anywhere. You have to have your garbage can and your recycling bins beside each other. And I learned this quickly, because if you're in a classroom or anywhere, and you've got your garbage can right beside you, and you've got the paper recycling bin way across the other side, if you have a piece of paper, are you going to go walk way across the room to put it out? Probably not. You're probably just going to toss it right beside you. And that was the problem. No one's going to make an effort. People are lazy. We're busy, we're tired, we're lazy. So if you have them side by side, when you have to dispose of something, when you walk over, you actually have to stop and pause and think, well, wait, which one does it go into? And I found it to be really, really successful. So when I was teaching in the preschool, I said to the teachers, can we please just do this? And they said, no, there's no room. It's too squishy. It's not going to work. I said, please, let's just try it. And they tried it. And after my recycling class with these preschoolers, they actually know to put paper in the blue bin and waste and garbage goes in the garbage can. Now, summer goes by, and when I come back in September, they're all over the place. They're never beside each other. I tried to put X's on the floor so the custodians would know, just please put that back. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I will have a parent email me or call me, say, my daughter is furious with me if she catches me putting a piece of paper in the regular garbage can. So I don't encourage dumpster diving or the recycling police, but these kids, they understand. And that's why I try and get to them when they're little, when they're 2 and 3 and 4 years old in preschool. Hopefully, if you get to them in preschool, I mean, it's like anything, you start young. We start sports, we start music lessons. Why can't you teach them about recycling when they're little? They get it. They are so smart. So that was my experience with recycling. But really, I mean, there are some temples that have incredible systems. Westchester Reformed Temple is an amazing. I went there and I was drooling. My friend and I from our green team, it's so impressive. And I don't know why everyone can't just follow their motto and just do what they're doing. They're all lined up, they're organized, they're clean, they're beautiful when you walk in. No one's gonna take you're not gonna take your coffee cup and you're just tossing the garbage. You are gonna wanna find the exact spot for that coffee cup. So let me see what's next. Here we go. Oh, that's another classroom. So they get moved around, but it's fun. I bring in a massive garbage bag of stuff and the kids get to pull something out and they have to figure out where it goes. So it's successful if you can keep those 2 garbage cans together. At the end of the day, what are the custodians doing? Are they piling it in one bag? I don't know. And right now, I don't really care. All I care about is that the kids see this and they're listening and they're doing it properly. Because if they're doing it properly at 3 or 4 years old, they're going to do it properly at 5, 6, 7, and they're going to tell you if you're not doing it properly. So let me see what else here. Okay, so in the garden. So let's see, our Jewish values. Of course, there were so many Jewish values in the garden and in the Torah. It's amazing. And one of my favorite, of course, is Tikkun Olam. We're repairing our world. Shomrei Adamah, they're guardians of the earth. This is a project I did with kids and they loved it. These are actually magnets on the back. So we took some recycled paper and these were first graders, I believe. And some kids who, this was about 3 years ago, they tell me it's still on their fridge or their little metal cabinet. But I do want to get to, before we go there. Okay, so the garden. So I have this great program. I'm so blessed. It's an outdoor education program. It's year round and the kids love it. So the director of the preschool, my someone, she says, Candace, I have a grant, I have some money. Can you please come do a TEVA program? We've got a little garden program right now. Would you be interested? I'd love to have you on board. I said, absolutely. I said, how many classes do I have? She says, well, you only have 3 and 3, 3 in the fall, 3 in the spring. I said, okay, no problem. So it was incredible. Those 6 classes 7 years ago are now into over 40 classes. And we've added the 2s and the 3s and the 4 or 5s. Of course, this is their program. So it's amazing and they love it. And the garden is their favorite. Well, I think it's their favorite specialty. I mean, yoga is fabulous and dance and music is important, but I think the kids really love to come to my TEVA classes. So what happens is it gets chilly. This is year round and it doesn't matter how cold it is. There's no such thing as bad weather. There's something called bad clothing, but there's never bad weather. If you're dressed properly, it's not a big deal. I live very close to a church and there's a preschool. Those kids are out there below 32 degrees, below freezing. They are bundled up. They've got the snow pants. And this is how I walk to school, in snow pants and jackets and hats. It's winter. You're a kid, you go outside for 3 hours and play. Not so much here, I'm finding. So the teacher said, well, it's very cold. I don't think the kids can go out. They don't have hats. I said, no problem. What did I do? I thought it was brilliant. I ordered 150 hats on Amazon. I put their names in. I gave each kid a hat. All right, here are the hats. All right, of course I washed them. This is my dog Ruby. And the irony is that last winter, we had such a mild winter. There was no snow. Maybe 6 kids wore these hats. So the teachers were like, oh, thanks for your hats. But you know what? I have them. We're going to be donating them because this year kids are bringing their hats. And I still think just because you don't have a hat, you can still go outside. Yesterday was chilly. Yesterday, when I looked at 8 o'clock in the morning, it was 16 degrees. So it does get a little chilly, but if you're bundled up properly, you can stay outside. And kids, they need to be outside. This is where we all have to be outside. This is the time. This is the era of we all want to be outside. You know, it's summertime, everybody was walking night and day, right? We outside, it's gorgeous. COVID, nothing to do. Let's go walk. We probably saw people we didn't even know lived in our neighborhood walking. So that was awesome. It was just everyone's outside where they should be, kids especially, and it's never too cold to be outside if you're dressed properly. So being outside in my outdoor education programs, they're all bundled up and we go off into the woods and we create art from nature on top of the gardening. I'm going to show you lots of gardening pictures. And these kids are having a blast. You don't need toys. You don't need, well, I'm not going to say balls aren't great, but I want them to go into nature and find things and just play and just be. And we had one class where these kids just brought back all these little wood chips and they just started creating designs. Simple. You don't need fancy materials. If you have wood chips, if you have rocks or pebbles, they love doing. These were the 5-year-old. These were the 5A. These were 5-year-olds. So it's amazing. You don't have to go get a whole lot of supplies. I don't want kids to have to worry about going out and I have nothing to do. I need a toy. No, you don't need a toy, right? It's nature. There's lots to do. So preschool, oh, these kids love that. Anything messy and squishy and dirty. And I told the teacher we're gonna be painting. This was, I think, in June. And she says, well, we don't have the paints or the brushes. Something happened. I said, we don't need paints and brushes. We'll just get some blackberries and some blueberries and put some paper down. And they love it. You don't need to go to Michael's to have an art class with kids, right? We cut open all kinds of food and fruit and smush it around and they absolutely love it. And here we go. So this is our outdoor classroom. Our outdoor classroom is a nature-based classroom where we have different stations. We've got the art area, we've got the digging area. This is a whole bag of chalk I bought. I got these little slate tiles. I actually got these donated. It's amazing how many things you can find people will donate if you say it's for kids. I didn't say a temple. I just said it's a preschool. I said, I'm a teacher. Can you donate? Can you give me some stuff? Like, absolutely. We love teachers. So I didn't pay for any of these slate tiles. It was I think a mason place in Port Chester, but people love to donate to schools. Or if you don't have a preschool, just say where you have a program for seniors or volunteers. We want to keep them busy. People love to donate. So here we go. This is our garden area. So it's a space for 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds. It's their garden. We say, this is your garden. So everyone uses it though. The twos come in, we read stories. We had these tree stumps for about 10 years and they were getting rotten and disgusting and mushrooms were growing and they were topping over. So at the very end, if we have time, I'd love to show you what I did. So why do kids need to be outside? For so many reasons. It's motor skills, it's fitness, it reduces stress, imaginative play. It's the first step, I like to say, toward developing the next generation of environmental stewards. Let them be outside. You know, and teachers some of them are still finicky. I had this great class and it started to rain. It was the end of this class and this poor kid, all he wanted to do is, Candace, can I see that rock or that stone or something? I said, wait till after the class, wait till after we have our hike. The class was almost over. It started raining. It started spitting raining. And this teacher said, hurry everyone, you're gonna get wet. We gotta go inside. And it was drizzling. It wasn't even raining. But this kid's looking at me like, Candace, you said I could touch this rock at the end of the class. So the teacher said, everyone in, so they had to run inside. So I said to the kid, I said, listen, after school, come back here with your mom or your babysitter or your dad, whoever's picking you up, come play with this rock, it's gonna be here. So he was like, he was happy. He just wanted to be outside. It was rain. Rain's not gonna kill you. It's just rain. But some people like that. And again, you can't coach everyone, you know, she's not there anymore, but that's okay. So the whole problem solving, critical thinking, we have that in every grade and every level. These kids, they just want to be outside, and this is it. Leaves. I didn't even pull any rocks or stones out. They want to examine things in nature and just be outside. They don't run inside and say, oh, let's get to our blocks or our trucks. Or they love being outside, and they say, can we stay longer? I'm like, I have 30 minutes. I have 5 classes. So we do a lot of, we pick flowers, we compare colors, and lots of comparison. There's math, there's science, there's so many incredible things when you're outside. Again, leaves and rocks and sticks. This is our outdoor classroom. This is one of my favorite classes, and I know I say that about every class. I gather on the bottom, you'll see all these leaves and branches. This is around Sukkot. So what I do is, in the top left corner, you can see there's some little pieces of wood. Those are called tree cookies. They're little circles. I said, okay, kids, we're getting into pairs. We're going to build a sukkah. All right. So now these tree cookies, I mean, you can make them, you can buy them, but I really wanted a lot of green and branches and sticks. So this is what they did. Here's their sukkah. No one said it's wrong. Where's the 3 walls? Where's the ceiling? They loved it. They got into teams, and then we walked around to each little sukkah and they talked about it. They shared their stories. And some kids were saying there's a yoga studio in the sukkah, and mine has a hot tub, and mine has monkeys in the corner. Like it was wild just sitting back and listening to them. And again, pine cones, sticks. You don't really need these fancy little tree cookies, but everything is out there for you, and they love it. No one's missing it. It's kind of like when you buy your kid that big toy and it comes in the great big box, and what do they end up playing with? The box. They decorate it. That's what we did. So a lot of discussion. We love the garden. They gather, they roam free. This is their space. Oops, here we go. We planted potatoes. One of the kids, we found potatoes about 7 months later, and he pulled it out and he said, this is great for Hanukkah. He connected the two. He latkes and Hanukkah and potatoes. So they know, they listen to these they're inside with their Jewish stories and their festivals, and when they come outside, they kind of connect the two. It's really amazing. Yesterday we lit a Chanukiah with oil. I did an oil class, olive oil. We have an olive press. We bring it in. Unfortunately, we had no olives this year because my California supplier had his orchards ruined by the fires. So I showed them all these different things that you can get oil from. You get oils from avocado. I brought in the coconut. Do you know how many kids were shocked this was a real coconut? They knew coconuts from cartoons, but they were shaking, they were passing along and they were shaking it, and it was amazing. And I said, you can get oil from coconuts, these trees. I mean, Tu B'Shvat is such a huge festival at our school, and we talk about trees and all the amazing things they do for us. But the olive oil, we lit a Chanukiah, and inside the Chanukiah, the little vessels, you put the little olive oil, and you've got these wicks, and you have these little holders. So the oil is absorbed into the wick, and that's how. Some people have never had a Chanukiah with oil. It's really, really sweet. So this boy is looking at it, and he said, Candace, that is just like the garden. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, it's sucking up the oil, and in the garden, the roots suck up the water. So he made this connection, and I thought it was amazing because we talked about roots. I think it was around Sukkot, but this boy was obsessed with pulling out plants and looking at these roots. So he kind of connected the two. It was so amazing. So we've got 3 beds in this garden, and really, you don't need a lot of space. If you want to build a garden, you really have to start with good soil. That's all I really recommend, really good quality soil. And if you need an organic supplier, I have the best organic nursery. I go to one place up in Westport, Connecticut, and organic plants, it's not a whole lot more. I like to teach the kids, if you can get organic, get organic. So the entire garden is organic, and they love it. They get dirty. This is when we were creating trees from sticks. They said, where are the markers? Where are the crayons? I said, no, we've got all this cardboard. Go get some sticks. We're going to make trees. And they loved it. And it's free. No Michaels. I'm going to get back to some garden shots here. So Again, they will, if you model certain behaviors, they will follow. Like some kids just love to get into dirt and dig and get filthy and messy and look for worms. We had a teacher who found a worm, and she was like, "Oh, it's disgusting." So what do the kids do? Ah, they scream, "That's disgusting." I said, "Are you kidding me? This worm's awesome." So I go and I have a brown marker here, and I pick up the worm and I'm looking at him. Look how cute he is, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, how wide is he? He's wide as your hand." And here's our math and science, and you think he's got a family, and look what color he is. It's brown. Who likes brown? Oh, I love brown. So from someone to take something and make it not so great, you don't have to do that. You just have to spin it, and they follow. So now I've got kids picking up worms. I'm not a fan of worms. I'll use a stick, but they don't know that. They're too busy. Some kid, they're tugging at worms. They have a ball. So here's a dead, I think it was a cicada, but oh, so I write a blog. It's so great if you're doing anything in a garden with kids or outdoors. Parents want to know. You know, teachers write little notes at the end of the week, but I write these blogs after each class, especially in the garden, and I get emails from parents saying, "This is incredible. I had no idea. I know my kid came home using the word chlorophyll. There's chlorophyll in the leaf, mommy. It's fall." You know, and they love seeing it. And I think it's important just to share as much as you can, because parents don't always get the whole story from the kids. But so this is just one of the blogs. I don't know what picture I'm on. I don't know how to see what picture I am, but I know I have a lot of pictures, and I want to get to the good stuff. So this is a bird. It's a bird feeder, a birdhouse, obviously. And I never intended a real bird to go in there. It was more of a decorative piece. You can see the post. My dad was in town, so we created this artwork to have the birdhouse sit on this really neat little stick here. So it's got a little Jewish star in it. The kids, they think it's so cute. So we're sitting there, and a bird flies from a tree into the birdhouse, and we went, "Look, there's a bird in there. There's a bird just flew in there." I said, "Oh, I didn't know. I had no idea a bird built a nest." So we peek in very carefully, and this is what we see. And it was the most magical class. I picked every single kid up, even the heavy ones, picked them up so they can peek in. And they saw this, and I don't know, I've never seen this before, and I'm in my 50s. So these kids thought it was magic. And where's the mummy? And why are they so hungry? And why are their mouths open? And why do they look like that? So that was just like a little extra blessing of my favorite to have a class. So now I have birdhouses all over my property. I don't have any bird nests. There's no birds there. I don't know why. So and here's our garden. So we plant all kinds of things. If you plant it, they will eat it. How many kids go home saying, "I love kale"? Not a lot. Now, these kids I teach, they love kale. So, and kale is great because it lasts all through the winter. We try so many things. We tried artichokes. We tried to grow celery. We have so many tomatoes. And the last season was not a great season for the garden for our tomatoes. But what we do is the kids come in the fall, they start their school year, and it's kind of a perpetual garden. So the garden is full, it's beautiful in September. So we tell the kids that the kids that were here last year, they planted this for you, and it's a circle. All right, they harvest a little bit in June before they go off for their summer vacation. But in the fall, here's a beautiful garden. Oh my goodness, how beautiful is that? How thankful is that? So what do? We pick some things, we give it to, there is a food pantry. We try and donate whatever we have a lot of. We don't always have a lot of everything, but just for them to see that this food is going across the parking lot and helping other people who really need it is a mitzvah. And that's what it's all about. It's all about sharing something natural as a mitzvah, and it's easy to do. The little ones, right? Lots of cute little ones. These are 2-year-olds dropping seeds. So great for motor skills. They love it. Marty, you could tell me if if I have to start winding up here, because, oh, you're muted. No. You know,
around 5 or 10 minutes. That'll leave us 15 minutes for some questions. I know there is one question already.
Okay, sure. So Sukkot is amazing. I don't know if I have a picture of the sukkah, but we've got this little mini sukkah, and I go all over. I collect corn and pumpkins and gourds, and they love watching these decorative pumpkins just dissolve and compost into the ground. We just had last week, they were examining it, and it's mushy and it's disgusting, but it's so cool. And they touch it. It's how often do you see a composting decorative pumpkin. Not that often, but let's see, here we go. So this is our, oh, this is great. Now, if you can't have a garden, if you don't have a garden, you have a maple tree on your property, you're set, you're okay. You can still have a green thumb, kind of. So we had, it was my first tree tapping class a few years ago. And I went out the day before just to find the maple trees. I said, okay, we've got a huge forest. Where's my maple tree? And I had a problem. It was February. Are there leaves on the maple tree? No. So I look up, I look down, I said, oh my God, what am I going to do? I don't know which is the maple tree. So I actually, there was one little spivet. There was one maple tree. It still had the little spivet, the tap in it. So I thought, thank God this is a maple tree. So I actually tell the kids that I have this problem. That's my go-to. When we have leaves on the trees in the fall, I tell them my story, my problem. And I said, well, how do we know which is a maple tree? We're coming out in here in February. And every kid, they're so brilliant. They said, well, just look at the maple leaves. Just look up. I said, well, there's no trees. There's no leaves on the tree. We'll just look down. Well, the trees, there's oak trees and maple trees. But they sit there and they think, and I love asking a question and see their wheels turning. So what we do is we go out in the fall and we tag the trees. We put curling ribbon around the maple trees, and every class gets their own tree. And I said, now listen, don't take this ribbon off. If you ever see anyone in the woods, tell them, leave these ribbons on, because this is how we know we have a maple tree. So it's amazing. They bring in these empty soda bottles, and because you don't need to buy supplies, just go get a container. So, and they fill up. And last year I had about 45 of these bottles, and I stored them in the fridge, and it's sap. And now they know that syrup does not come out of a tree. And it takes me 2 days to boil it down. First I did it at the temple in the kitchen, and then we had COVID, and then what was I going to do? So I took it home, and I spent all weekend boiling this down. And the sad part is that they never got to taste it, which is a drag, because the whole let's tag the tree and where's the maple tree, and they bang it in, and they're so excited for the syrup, and they want a pancake breakfast. So if you have a maple tree, it is so simple, and teachers could not believe that we did this. We got sap from the maple tree. Obviously, the bigger the tree, the more spigots you can stick into the tree, and you can collect sap. So I highly recommend finding a maple tree on your property, if it's your temple or your home, and try this. Now, 45 soda bottles will get you probably this much. So it's a lot of work, but it's worth it, and it's really amazing. I'm going to skip by. This was a project we did, because I know you want to know about, well, actually, we had an event. It was a Shabbat dinner, and the director said, we need centerpieces. Can you have the kids make centerpieces? I'm like, okay, sure, no problem. We're not going to buy flowers. We're not going to bring out the dried flowers. We've had those for years. They're boring. So I had the kids, I brought in, let me go back a little bit. These are magazine strips. And we found some cardboard. And what we did is every kid had a flower. And we had, those were paint sticks that were donated to me from a really nice paint store. And that was the centerpiece on the top right. And they loved it. And the parents loved it. And they were so happy that kids were recycling, and we weren't taking out those old flowers that we've had for years, and we didn't spend money on new flowers. So now the kids know, like, don't go buy things. You don't have to go buy flowers. You don't have to buy things. You probably have things in your house that you can create with, and it's amazing. So
Candace,
yes,
we have 20 minutes, and I want to leave some time for people to ask questions.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. This is fabulous. I think we should stop and answer some questions.
Okay.
I know there are 2 that have gone through the chat room. So if you could, why don't you roll through a bunch of pictures, because the garden is so gorgeous, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Okay, I know. I talked to you. I went off script, and I know it's like a game show. You want to get all the information, and oh, this is where I pressed these leaves in my dictionary from my bat mitzvah in 1980s. They loved it, but we created art. We created art from pressed leaves. So Last thing is, so March 9th, just last story. It was my class with the 4s and 5s, and we came out to the garden, and this was the first daffodil that bloomed. And we set such a huge shahari on it. It was incredible. And I told the kids, wait till you see what's going to happen with these bulbs in this garden. It's going to be incredible. What do? We closed the next day, and they never got to see them. So I did actually go in and create videos, but this one daffodil, it breaks my heart, but it's so special to me, and I know exactly where it's going to come up. So we went online. I did videos online and made mud cakes, and I planted, and there were no kids, and it was really difficult, but the show must go on. And they saw everything. I made sure they saw every single thing that I planted. And, you know, zooming from home, here we go. What are you going to do? But we ended off the year. Every year, the 4s and 5s, they create this beautiful art project, nature related, and they give it back to the garden. It's installed in the garden. So I had no kids to create an art piece, and we needed an art piece. So they all sent in their signatures. And what I did is I carved them by hand on these benches. And these benches now sit in the garden. And during the summer, they came one family at a time. I hosted them. I said, this is your gift back to the garden. They're going to be here forever. And now everyone gets to enjoy it. These kids come in now and they sit on these benches. And I was really proud. It was a bittersweet project, but it made me happy, as you can see. And I just wanted to share that with you. But I will stop. There's our sukkah. There's our kids' sukkah. I will stop sharing right now.
Okay.
And
So Candace, actually, you got to one of the first questions, which was about COVID. I think it was Marlene. Oh, Marlene. Yeah, she's there.
No, my question really was, and I didn't realize your nursery school is apparently not open, right?
Where we are, our nursery school is open, yes.
Oh, because ours is also open, and I was just wondering if during COVID, sharing things like hats and kippas would be appreciated by the parents, because most of your ideas are just lovely.
Oh, thank you. That the kippot, that was from my son's elementary school. This is preschool. All these pictures here, the garden, the outdoor, the little kids, that's all the preschool. And they are open, and they do not wear kippot. And they all bubble in their own classrooms, but they get to come out to see me, which is really nice. And we all wear our masks, and the show must go on. So.
And Judy Zinger, I don't see you. Maybe she, oh no, there she is. Hi. You had some questions. Unmute yourself.
Okay, I have to see what I asked.
About composting.
Yeah, do you compost? Do you have a way of collecting food scraps and distinguishing what is good for the garden compost and collecting it and turning it and using it?
I love it. I wish our kitchen, which is very busy, I wish they would compost, and that's been discussed. And I think there are people who work in the kitchen that would be happy to compost. What we do is when we close the beds in the fall, some things we put in those big yard waste bags, but a lot of things I like to chop up, and they see me turn the soil over, and that's how we're composting the vegetables. It's going back in the earth. So they know compost, and they know either pack it in the bag and take it somewhere and dump it somewhere really healthy into another garden. But yeah, I definitely want these kids. We actually also have a little compost machine, which is hard to turn around, but I have to take it's like a pitchfork. You know, they love it. They love it. Can I try it? No, you can't try, but you can turn over all the old vegetables in the garden, which is so great for the garden. So they do know composting, yes, in the garden, in our kitchen. Hopefully that will come one day once we reopen.
Okay, and I did have another little question about, you know, when I walk outside on the roads and even in the woods, I can see, as everybody does, see stuff on the ground, bottles, cans, plastic, wrappers,
Gloves now.
Gloves, masks, all this stuff. How do you tell the kids, what do you tell the kids about that?
Well, sometimes when we're working in the garden, we'll have, you know, there'll be garbage in there. And I look and I say, wait, you know, does this belong here? No. What should we do? Get it out, clean it up, put it away. So that, you know, I tell people, I mean, nowadays, can you go pick up garbage if you see something? No, but you say some people, they don't respect the earth, and they leave it there, and that's not very nice. And if you see someone that drops something, you should say, go pick it up. Hopefully that they won't get in trouble. But yeah, people, they litter. And I tell them, I don't ever use the word hate, but I hate people who litter. I hate litter. It's just not supposed to be there. So they were picking up garbage from the garden.
Right, right.
Marlene, you had another question?
Yeah, I know. My question is whether you would share your email address with us, because those ideas are so wonderful. I was wondering if our teachers might benefit from your suggestions. And I don't know if you have that somewhere that they could see.
They could definitely connect with me. We can share my information later on after the Zoom is over. If they need some help with anything, if they need some ideas, if they want to know where to get really fabulous organic seedlings, I'm happy to talk to them. Please have them reach out to me.
Candace, if you would just put your email address into chat, then everyone can access it. If you are comfortable with doing that.
Of course, where is the chat? We'll do that. Here we go.
Anybody else have any questions? Did I stop her too soon?
I can go back to my script.
Yeah, we love those pictures.
I'd love to hear more. I just came on late and I'm so inspired. So thank you so much.
That's great. All right, so why don't we do that? We have 10 more minutes. So Candace, now you get to try that again to share your screen.
No.
Sorry.
Well, it's going to take me 10 minutes to get my shared screen back up, but
no, it won't. You're a
bear
pro
with
now.
me. Here, let's go back here. Maybe this is it. Hang on a minute. Share. Cross your finger.
You got it. You got it.
No, I see a gray screen.
Well, it's on our screen. It says you've started screen sharing. So remember, it took you a while to pull up.
Okay.
I don't know what you did on your end, but it took
I don't know either.
few seconds.
Okay. Let's see. Or I'm gonna go back to this right here. Right. We'll do this. Can you see what I'm doing right now?
Nope,
Oh,
Nope.
not yet.
okay. Okay. 2, 3. Come on. And then share, and let's see. Nope. And here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Ah,
Okay.
Let's go.
So
all-
zoom through to where you were. Yeah.
Let's try. Okay, we're down there. Let's see.
Okay, I'll stop you again when it's time.
Okay. Okay, so this is the entrance to our garden. We had a fundraiser. Everyone, if they chose to, they bought a post, and their name is there forever. So we also have bricks. There's a little beautiful, you can't really see a beautiful wood chips, little path. And that was also a fundraiser. You wrote a little message when your child graduated, if you liked. Let's see, oh, rain barrel. They love this barrel. They love drumming on it. And I'm like, fine with that. But we try to collect rain, and we're reusing the water. We're reusing the rain. It's not a great shot of the whole barrel there. So I made these little signs. I found someone who spoke perfect Hebrew, and I wanted Hebrew letters. I mean, they don't know what they mean, and I just wanted them to see them. And when they graduate from the preschool, hopefully they return to religious school, I get to teach them again. I get to teach them from kindergarten, first and second. I teach them art. So all of my art projects are made from recycled materials. Most of them are from recycled materials. So by the time these kids leave me from 2s, 3s, 4s, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, they know you never throw anything in the garbage. Here we're measuring, here's our science and math. They were measuring the height of the bulbs. These are paint sticks from the paint store, and they loved it. And every kid at the end of the year, I gave them this beautiful Teva package. It had these sticks, and they have little sketchbooks they made out of recycled cardboard. There's my dictionary again. So I love the fall, and we match up colors, and each classroom gets to take this back with their artwork, and they love that one. There's my kid. Okay, so we passed our garden.
wow.
Sorry if I'm going too fast. There's benches I love. And here's our little, so here we are. So we're wearing masks. So the show must go on. Kids are back, and they're still building their sukkahs, and they're resilient. It's amazing. We're the ones who are frustrated and getting a little frustrated and just what do we do? Okay, so our sukkah. So I don't know if anyone's noticed that the squirrels were really hungry this year and ate everything. They ate our pumpkins, they ate all of our decorations. Does anyone notice that? Did that happen to anyone? Because there's a reason why. We built this beautiful sukkah. 2 days later, the corn was gone. The little pumpkins were gone. I actually saw a squirrel run across the parking lot with my pumpkin, and I would have chased him if it was appropriate, but they ate everything. And I said, what is going on? This has never happened. We've done this sukkah for 7 years. It lasts for, it's fresh in at least 4 or 5 days. Kids come out. The squirrels ate everything because we had such little snow last winter that the oak trees did not get their nutrients, their water, to produce acorns. Because every year I walk around my neighborhood, I've got 3 spots. I collect all my acorns for my classes. There were no acorns, maybe tiny ones. I just left them. I'm like, what is going on here? So I researched it. I wanted to find out. The squirrels were starving. There was no acorn, so they ate everything else in sight. And of course, the kids said, they ate my jack-o'-lantern, those who have Halloween. But it was really sad. I spent a lot of money on the sukkah, and it lasted 2 days, all of the corn. But you know what? I left and I said, you know what? Okay, it's gone. It's not as pretty, but we fed the squirrels. We did a mitzvah. And they're like, yeah, where are the squirrels? They're gonna bring in pumpkins for the squirrels. It was so cute. So something that not so great, we lost our pretty sukkah decorations. It turned into a mitzvah. I'm turning every kid into a tree hugger. I want them to love trees. So they love it. They look up and they touch and they feel, and it's amazing. And they will do this forever. Those are little paper bags. They're the little Teva bags, and they have their name on it. And they collect things they like. If there's a leaf or a rock. So we are really blessed. And you don't need acres and acres of land to have kids come out and explore and enjoy it. You can have 3 trees. You can have 1 tree in our outdoor class, and we have 1 tree, and kids sit under that tree and they love it. And it's they think, well, we don't have such a big space. What are the kids going to do? We need a playground. You don't. You just need an outdoor space. So in religious school, we're here we were making nature windows. So I brought in, all this nature was from Colomie, and they were practicing writing their Hebrew. And again, the only thing I did have to buy was that tape, that plastic, that tack paper, that Mac tack paper. But I brought sticks in, I had twine, and I still get pictures. We've been doing this for about 3 years. I get pictures from parents that still have that hanging in their home, either in their kid's bedroom or their family room, and it's so sweet. So they love it. Here are bulbs, because the kids, we plant bulbs every year, and I'm running out of space in our garden. So they do a whole bulb lesson, and then we wait. It's patience. We wait till spring. They're there, we tuck them in, we say goodnight, and we will see you in the spring. So this was yesterday's class. I had to hold my COVID Hanukkah class. We opened up the doors, the blanket was there, and I was far away. You can see the olive press a little bit there, but this is how we're teaching. I couldn't teach this outside, it was too cold, and the wind would blow the wicks of the Hanukkah. So this is where I taught my class yesterday, and they were fine. They had their coats on, and we were far apart enough, and we kept our masks on. So, and there's the Hanukkah. Some of them have never seen that before. And here's that little boy in the blue who said that reminds him of the roots in the garden. The roots suck up the water, and these candles are sucking up the oil. And these are very inexpensive. They're kind of fun to watch, to boil. And there's my, that was my apron. I wear that apron even though I don't mind getting dirty. They love to see it, and they know it says Teva, even though they're 3 and 4. And there's my happy, and that's it. This is the little gift I give to each class, each kid after the acorn lesson, except this year, obviously. Now you can buy acorns online. I just couldn't do it. If you look closely, you can see there's hot glue. I never find a full acorn. I find the bottoms and the tops, and I hot glue them together, usually 50 to 55. My hands are red, but look how cute they are. And each kid gets a little one, and they put it in their pocket, and then I have to email their parents, please check your child's pocket for a happy face acorn. But they love it. And really, it's nature, it's free. So, we hit the end, that's it, we did it.
We have, yay.
Yay.
Well done, thank you. Candace, I put your email into the chats to everyone if you want to take down her email.
Excellent. Let me,
Um, And I thank you. This has been spectacular.
video. Oh, I had such a great time. I'm sorry. I hope if there's any other questions, then
Yeah, I have a
Later.
question.
Go ahead, Judy.
Who does the most work in the garden? Do you do it, or does the staff do it, or the kids actually
Oh.
do it?
no, it would be me. Well, no, well, every class, I mean, the kids are there, but you can't leave it, you can't trust the kids. You can't leave it up to the teachers and the kids. It's a lot of work, and sometimes they'll start pulling things out that we don't want to be pulled out, but they maintain, we plant, they maintain the garden, and then hopefully at the end we reap the benefits and we harvest. But it is a lot of work. And you could say, oh, we've got these volunteers, but it is a lot of work. It's a big commitment. So I have to keep this garden alive over the summer for the kids who come in September. And it's challenging, but we have sprinkler system, and I don't live too far from the temple, so I can pop in. But yeah, to have a little sign up genius, and we're in charge of the garden, you know, if families want to come. I actually did that this past summer. I was so sad that I did not get to say goodbye to the kids. So I hosted families to come and come work on the garden. And it was, I think I did it for 6 weeks, and they came for 20 minutes or 30 minutes and they loved it. They got to see their vegetables and their name on their bench. It was really sweet. So, and then, oops.
That's fine. We went back to the gallery view.
Okay. Yeah. So it is a big commitment, but really you can, if you don't have a massive garden, all you need is a clay pot. My friend lives in an apartment building, and on her patio, she's got 5 or 6 tomato plants and parsley. You don't need a massive garden like we have at Colony, for sure.
Yeah. It is massive. It's fabulous.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Candace. You've inspired everybody.
I hope so.
I can see. Thank you.
Is there, this is, oops. Okay. Here we go.
I'm
Okay,
curious about, I have a question. I'm a rabbi in Northern Westchester, and we're starting up a Garden of Hope, which it's just already existent. I'd love to talk to you about it, but I'm interested in replicating some of the older kids, like the B Mitzvah programs that have popped up in like Colorado and California, like wilderness-based rites of passage. I know that's not your demographic, but you're the little ones. But maybe you also are interested. I'm just planting seeds, literally, because it's something I'm really passionate about. And all these kids are having Zoom mitzvahs, and it just seems like such a great time to innovate. And in Westchester, there's so much beauty in natural areas. So I just kind of wanted to put it out there of like families who might be interested in a nature-based, like couple of year journey into the barn bat mitzvah.
I find that those age kids, when they're off their phones, they really like to be big shots. And when you've got older kids taking little kids under their wing, they love it. At our religious school, we have the Madrahim. We've got the kids, the middle school kids and high school kids, and they help out. And the little ones, they look up to them, they love them. So to have teens come in with small kids is really a great idea. And you can do things 2, 3 times a year. It doesn't have to be a continuous thing, you know, because it's a commitment, and you need help and people who really want to stick with it. But older people helping younger people, it's awesome. It really works. I love it.
Thank you. That's a great idea.
Thank you. Okay, everybody. Thank you for coming. Candace, again, thank you. I think we're all inspired. Our next meeting is January 12th. Bonnie Hagan, who I think has signed off now. Bonnie Hagan will be leading it, and we'll be talking about energy retrofitting, what financial incentives will by January, the new year's incentives will start to become available from Con Ed, etc. So we'll have some other speakers led by Bonnie Hagan on January 12th at 9 o'clock. Happy Hanukkah, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Candace. That was great.
It was. Candace, thank you.
I'll see you in the garden.
Thank you, everybody.
Take care.
Thanks, Pam.
Bye-bye.
Bye.